Hey, I found something very interesting. It's a little bit different from what I normally talk about. We're going to talk about creation, but this little bit is from a class that Swami Vivekananda gave in Thousand Island Park in upstate New York way back when. And it's been recorded in a little book called Inspired Talks, which is all the classes that he gave at that retreat. So he says, creation is not a making of something. It is the struggle to regain equilibrium. As when bits of cork thrown to the bottom of a pail of water rush to the top singly or in clusters. Life is and must be accompanied by evil. A little evil is the source of life. The little wickedness that is in the world is very good, for when the balance is regained, the world will end, because sameness and destruction are one. As long as the world exists, good and evil exist with it. But when we can transcend this world, we get rid of both good and evil and have bliss. There is no possibility of ever having pleasure without pain, good without evil, for life itself is just lost equilibrium. What we want is freedom, not life, nor pleasure, nor good. Creation is infinite, without beginning and without end, the evermore ripples on an infinite lake. There are, however, unreached depths in this lake where equilibrium has been regained. But the ripples on the surface are always there. The struggle to regain the balance is eternal. Life and death are only different names for the same fact, the two sides of one coin. Both are Maya, the inexplicable state of striving at one time to live and a moment later having to die. Beyond this struggle for equilibrium, is our true nature, the Atman, the soul. What we call God is really only the self, from which we have separated ourselves, which we worship as being outside of us, but it is our true self all the time, the one and only God. There's a lot in there to really meditate on and really think about. That it's not good or evil or pleasure without pain that we're looking for. What we're looking for is freedom, right? That equilibrium exists within us, that strength of confidence, where we're not shaken by conditions as they come in through the senses or through the mind, where we know our identity as pure love, as pure wisdom, and our existence as pure being. That it's bliss, not good, not bad, not a part of a duality back and forth, that anything that has an opposite. It's impossible to have good without bad. How would you know what it was without a background of bad to highlight it? So it's not looking for a place that has only pleasure. What is pleasure without pain? It doesn't exist. There's nothing to qualify it if there's no pain. And this idea that this creation is this struggle for equilibrium, it's our own creation. We've created the world that we each live in. Each one of us lives in our very own version of the world, which is why we have our own dislikes and likes, our own goals and aspirations, our own philosophies and beliefs. We've created a world all of our own that we carry around in this head. And this place that he talks about, where there is this equilibrium, the deeper sections of the ocean where there is an equilibrium has been reestablished, that's within you. Below the surface of local mind, this constant noisy, chattering mind, before that is yourself, the sense of being, the image of God that's emanating the love of God that you express in everything that you do. But you see, it doesn't look like love sometimes because through its expression, you're expressing it through an ego. And that ego has conditions, has wills, has desires, has needs. And so it only expresses love in a way that's beneficial to itself, which is what cuts us off from the rest of the world. We've created that duality within, right here, he says. What we call God is really only the self, from which we have separated ourselves. How can you find that? How can that be true? Well, think about it. Watch yourself think. As you tell yourself something in your mind, who are you talking to? Why is there a talker and a listener in your own mind? And what's this talker telling the listener that the listener doesn't already know? Because both the talker and the listener of your own mind is you. So silence the mind. There's no need for it. And then you will spontaneously know what is. That knowledge is not relative. It's not in little boxes in the mind of disparate objects that are tied together with strings of relationship with everything else in the mind. And ultimately, all those strings come back to you, because that's what ego is. It's your relationship with everything else in the world. It's all about you. So we dump that. Return to within, this silence beneath the mind, where the self manifests as pure love, as pure wisdom, as pure existence. And be inspired from that place, not driven from this place, the world of multiplicity, the world of imbalance. And find your freedom. Know who you are. Then you can be who you are. Until then, you'll be something that you don't know what you are. You'll be some guy that likes this and doesn't like that, or some woman who wants this and not that. But you won't know yourself as being the very source of love in this world, the very source of wisdom to this world. And you will never be able to be authentic without knowing and finding that within yourself.